Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Be sure to check me out over on Rumble. There you'll find all of my stuff from YouTube, plus my political and social commentary and weekly current events, which YouTube frowns on. Links to my Rumble channel, as well as my other YouTube channels, and links to let you order my books are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an unexplained person video on Gregori Rasputin. I want to do this guy's story for a long time, but I was trying to research a little bit about his past, and all the articles that I found, they all had conflicting information. So for the last few weeks, I've been sifting through the different articles trying to figure out what's common, finding commonalities. So I finally got something that I think I can put out. So here we go. Anyone who has ever heard of Rasputin has been fascinated with this story. There are thousands of tales, many of which are not supported by any kind of corroboration. However, the tales which are corroborated are so fantastical that one has to wonder how many of the others are true as well. All right. Gregori Rasputin was born in 1869 in the small Siberian village of Pokrovskoye. Pokrovskoye. My Russian pronunciation is atrocious, so bear with me. He was one of 8 children, but all the rest of his siblings died before they reached adulthood. He's the only one that made it to adulthood. He had little in the way of education. It was probable that he couldn't read or write. He was standard fare. There wasn't anything outstanding about his childhood. He was regularly imprisoned by the local authorities for a variety of offenses. He evidently liked to drink and carouse with women, and in the late 1800s, that was apparently a no-no. It wasn't like it is now. He was married at the age of 18, and he raised 3 children. So there's that. In 1897, at the age of 28, for some reason, and I literally found 22 conflicting reasons. Okay. He took a pilgrimage to the St. Nicholas Monastery at Verkatoria. We know that. We know he did that. We just don't know why he did it. When he returned, he had gotten religion. Some say he was inflamed by religious fervor. Some say he was a charlatan. Some say he just wanted the status of being religious. We don't know. But apparently he got religious fervor. He was still carousing with women, but anyway, he wandered Russia as a traveling holy man. He also developed his own religion based on an outlaw Christian sect called, they were known as the Khlysts, Khlys, Khlysts. His religious practices included orgies and self-flagellation. If you don't know what self-flagellation is, he took a whip and beat himself. Yeah. Keep in mind that he was infamous for never bathing. He acquired a multitude of followers and somehow developed certain abilities. Now, he had, according to the stories, he had lots of different abilities. He was a mystic. He could see the future. He could blah, 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 blah. He had like 100 different abilities. The two that are absolutely corroborated, documented, were that he could read minds and he could heal the sick. Those are documented. Now, how he did it, we don't know. But again, documented. He developed connections in the Russian Orthodox Church, which eventually brought him to St. Petersburg. The people there, obsessed with the supernatural, welcomed him with open arms. He climbed the social ladder until in November of 1905 he went to meet Tsar Nicholas II, ruler of Russia. The ruling family welcomed him in. They were fascinated by him. They lavished him with gifts. He was it apparently for them. They were desperate for him to heal their son, Alexei. Alexei suffered from hemophilia. Hemophilia is for if you don't know what it is, it's a rare blood disorder. Your blood doesn't clot. So if you get a small cut, you can literally bleed to death because the blood doesn't clot and stop the wound. You know, so a small paper cut you can literally bleed to death from that. Most people who had hemophilia back then, it was a death sentence. Today, it's hard to treat. You know, people die from hemophilia every day in modern times. Back then, it was a death sentence. Alexei was also the sole male heir. They had a lot of daughters, but only one son. So there you go. Supposed to have an heir and a spare, and guess what? They couldn't get the spare part right. Rasputin, well, they had lots of daughters, and their daughters were wonderful. I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying that's the way they thought. I wasn't trying to, insult women or whatever. Not trying to be a sexist. Anyway, that's how they thought back then. The law said it had to be a male heir. So they kept trying until they finally got Alexei, and then he had hemophilia. So Rasputin was able to heal the boy with his spit. Yeah, he would spit on the boy to heal him. And inexplicably, it worked. Healing hemophilia is a serious thing. Again, even in our modern world, Rasputin did, in fact, have the gift of healing. It is documented. One such healing miracle took place while Rasputin was thousands of miles away. I don't know if he spit that far, but there you go. Even modern medical scholars cannot explain Rasputin's healing powers. Because of his healing powers with Alexei, Rasputin gained the unshakable and unquestioning favor, can't read my own writing, of the Tsar and his family. In order to ensure his future, Rasputin made a bold prediction. He told the Tsar that his fate was linked to the Romanovs. That's the Tsar Nicholas is the Romanov family. Basically what he told him was that if he were to die, the Romanovs would soon follow. So they were anxious to keep that dude alive. Rasputin was named by Tsar Nicholas II, Patriarch of the Romanov line, as his official lamplighter, which is sort of a household religious icon. Rasputin took full advantage, eventually even advising the Tsar on matters of state. He was also accepting sexual favors and other bribes for influencing the Tsar. Yeah. He was also accused of rape multiple times, but his accusers were either fired or ignored. The guy was literally untouchable. The Tsar made him untouchable, okay? Because they liked him so much. Now, in all fairness to the Tsar and his family, the Romanovs, he healed their son. There's no question about that. So, yeah, I can see them liking him to the point of wanting to keep him around. I get that. Several members, I think they may have went a little overboard, though. Several members of the Orthodox Church named him a heretic, and the Prime Minister tried to have him exiled. The Russian secret police opened an investigation. Still, he maintained his position. At one point, he was stabbed in the stomach by a woman, a peasant, who claimed he was the Antichrist. He escaped on foot, slipped into a coma, but soon recovered. Yeah, in the early 1900s, if you get stabbed in the stomach, chances are you're dead. Period. I mean, the chances of this woman missing vital organs by stabbing him in the stomach is, oh my God, ridiculous. I mean, he should have died from that. He did slip into a coma, but he soon recovered. When Tsar Nicholas left the capital to personally lead his troops in World War I, Rasputin took full advantage of his wife. He manipulated her at will on matters of state and also wormed his way into her bed. Yeah. I guess it's good to be the favorite of the king. I don't know. In December of 1916, a group of Russian noblemen had had enough. They invited him to an out-of-the-way place where they gave him cakes laced with cyanide. He ate several of the cakes, but seemed fine. Then they gave him wine laced with cyanide. 3 glasses later, he seemed fine. Becoming irritated that Rasputin wouldn't die, one of the nobles pulled out a pistol and shot him in the chest. One of the conspirators, and he dropped, right? So one of the conspirators took all of his clothing. They undressed him, and the guy took his clothes, and he went back to Rasputin's home to make it look like he'd returned home from the meeting. While the conspirators were trying to dispose of the corpse, Rasputin stood up and punched one of them in the face. So now you have naked Rasputin running around chasing the nobles. So they pulled out their guns and they shot him at least 3 more times, and at least once in the head. Okay? So so they dumped his body into an icy river. He was still moving as he sank into the freezing water. His body was found the next day, stuck to the ice like he was trying to escape the icy river. His eyes were open. One hand was on the ice. The other hand was a fist, like he was banging on the ice. Again, what do you got to do to kill a dude, you know? I mean, one would think cyanide would do it, but no, apparently not. So they shot him, and then they shot him, and then they shot him, and finally shot him in the head. And he was still alive. I mean, what do you got to do, right? In 1917, as per the prediction, the Tsar was ousted and the Romanovs were murdered. So, kook or not, his prediction did come true. Rasputin is one of the most fascinating characters in history. Very little is known about him because obviously, you know, he was in Russia. But the fact that this guy had documented healing powers and it was documented that he could read minds, that tells you something. There was something to this guy. I don't know what else to tell you. Do your own research and see if you can figure out anything else. Put it in the comments. I'm sure everybody would love to read it. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. There is a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. When the police detective, who happens to be a skinwalker squirrel, uncovers a plot by a paranormal perpetrator, he has to enlist the aid of his fellow housemates. If you enjoy a modern, quirky take on historical mythology, check out my new original novel, The House Off Farrago Road.